traveling from Kyiv to represent our documentary about the war in Ukraine, and I think that now Russia hits Ukraine with 80 bombs, and this is the reason why we're traveling around the world, and we want to tell the story of Ukraine, to represent it, and maybe to ask any questions, to tell any questions you want to ask us. So Miriam, tell about.
Yeah, nice to meet you all. And so the main reason of this film, I think, is because when the war was started, nobody knew how the banking system and financial system will work during the war, because there were no the internet. We had some problems with the connection and electricity, and that's why it was a big problem for different businesses, but mostly for fintech. And our employees were in occupied territories, and some of them now are in the military arms of Ukraine. And in this film you can see different stories of different people who is working with us, and how our company goes through these really hard times.
This documentary film, was created by the Ukrainian production company, and we traveled around Ukraine. We traveled to Germany, to Great Britain, to Poland to collect all these stories. It's stories about different people of different age, of different positions, one of the most heartbreaking story for me is the story of Irina. She is the train conductor, and we met her maybe in March 2022. Her son, he's a defender of Azovstal, which is located in Mariupol. Maybe you saw his photos because he's a photographer. The photo, the guy standing on the Azovstal and the sun ray coming to his face, and it's like associated with hope that everything will be okay, that we will get the victory. And back then, her son, Irina's son, was captured by Russians, and actually she didn't know if he's alive, what is going on in his life, actually. And after 3 or 4 months, after we met, Ukrainian government agreed to exchange the Azovstal prisoners. And that was a very big victory for Ukraine. Her son was one of those guys who was exchanged. But when we were shooting the film, we didn't know that. It's like something we added at the end of the film. This is amazing, I think.
And I think that now we can turn on the film, and you can see the short part of this film. The full version is 1.5 hour of our stories. So I think that it's better to see.
Yeah, and I also want to add that just yet it's not published. I think that it will be published till the end of the 2023. We want to show you just a short part and see what it means to you. Okay. Firstly, if we're saying about the places, like the girl sitting on the beach, it's the city Odessa in Ukraine. So this girl who is saying she's from Odessa and she stayed all the time in Ukraine. So maybe it's like choice of where we're from, and we want to show that. The fancy apartment is also the same thing. Like we were living in Ukraine, and we were having money. We have flat and so on. So this is a place where we live, and I don't think we should be ashamed of that, because we're not coming to Europe to take someone's money or something else. We're not coming from Ukraine because of the bad life we had there, but we come here because we are afraid for our lives, for the life of the children,
and I think that we are saying that it's a really big business in Ukraine, which has really money, and no one from our employees doesn't take any help from the European countries.
Yeah, for example,
because we can make it and we afford.
1 second, I think you misunderstood me. Like, it's not about my judgment, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I'm just saying like how it's carried, because like I teach here. When I teach my students and we talk about making videos for cultural development and so on, obviously we talk about which kind of
the image
and how it comes. I'm not saying this is the right what people perceive, but you know, there was a huge discussion in Germany, why are people coming with big cars, they don't need our help. And obviously, I mean, if you're fleeing from a war, you need help. Period.
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
asking,
interesting.
Just a curiosity, no, I'm not blaming. I'm just
No, of course.
the point of the committee.
Actually, maybe this is misunderstanding that is in society for now, because, for example, there are families. Our family, we're living in Poland now, and we don't take the help of the government. And I don't know how to explain it. Maybe there is a position of being so, I don't know, like selling your cars, your flats, just to help your government. Yes, we do that. We do that a lot, and maybe yes. I don't know, that image, we didn't think about that actually. Maybe that image can confuse someone.
I think that the main reason is what Katy said before, that Ukrainians want to say that we're really thankful for European countries who accept our refugees. But Ukraine lived very good, and it's true. We had a really good life, and nobody wanted to go outside of Ukraine. And at the moment, a big business is working, and he helps to his employees, to its government, and we just saying that Ukraine it's a real Ukraine, and we hope that we can go to our country and live our life as it was before. But I think that the first point is we don't want to say that we are poor and we need help.
We're just telling the
for sure,
story.
we have a lot of people who goes from Ukraine, and they really need this help because they have a lot of they have their family in forced arms, and so we have people, as you said, that which comes with fancy cars, and I understood you, that it's not okay because unfortunately, no, I'm saying in general, because it's real, you don't understand what is happening, because and we understand it, and we are in pro of this point, because it's not normal that such people we have. But I think that it's a real image of Ukraine which was before the war.
And also, I think that I understand the point that this image is confusing a little bit. Maybe yes, but I think that this film is created to show people what is Ukraine, who is Ukrainians, and what we're living through now. So maybe it worth saying that Ukraine has big business, and it works, and it helps a lot, helps really a lot. So just to show the image of one group of people.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
My question to you is the documentary that you actually showed represents a very small portion of the population. 2,500 people from your organization are in a safe zone right now. What about the others? What is happening? What is the actual situation?
Okay, so this film has 12 stories of the employees of our company, and there are people who are in occupation, there are people who joined the armed forces of Ukraine and they are still there. There are our IT employees who actually died in this fight. Yes, and actually the situation is that it's quite hard in Ukraine now, because as I said, the shelling never stopped, and people try to get used to that, if we can say, get used to war, because we had energy crisis in winter. I think you know about that, and it was hard times for people, but we managed it. We had this station in every part of the city where people can come, they can charge their phones and get everything they need. Now, as the spring comes, I think that it will be easier. And you mean what is going on in people's life, or maybe on front? Mm-hmm. Not what, sorry?
Is not clear.
Of course. This is the short part of the film. It's only 8 minutes, and the whole film is hour and a half. So I think the picture will be clear. I just don't know. You want to know what's with other 500 people? Or?
But I think that it's yeah, but this film, it was exactly about the company, how we suffered this time. So maybe that's why you're right, because it's this film is about only our company and our society. Yeah, but in the film there are some stories about other people who is outside of our company, and I think that you can, if you will see the full version, maybe you will understand it in details.
Anybody else? So yeah, I'm just going to continue asking like I ask my students, right? So I wonder, now we're talking about the 500 employees. Do we have only higher up employees, or will there be like stories about maybe the team person making the tea, the drivers, or is it only the qualified employees that like are in the role that you mentioned?
Of course, there are different stories. There are stories of our IT specialists who were volunteering all the time on the western part of Ukraine, helping people who were fleeing. And there was also a story of Irina, who I said about earlier. She is a train conductor, as I said. So there are different stories, different opinion, different people of different, I don't know if I can say like levels. Yes, so of course.
I have a question too. I recently gave a speech in Vilnius, Lithuania, talking about democracy, peace, etc. And coming from cultural diplomacy, of course, I was talking about diplomacy and peace, etc. After me was a speaker from the embassy of Ukraine to Lithuania. And I said, Mr. Donford, I'd like to just correct you. This is not a war for peace. This is a war for victory. Which was a nice quote. I understand. This idea of really, not giving an inch to Russia. This was represented yesterday by your team. But I just get kind of scared as I see every day more missiles are being shot, more buildings are being destroyed, more people are being killed. It's hard for me to imagine Putin down gracefully. It's hard, the speaker yesterday was very articulate. He says, Russia must lose this war. We must win this war. Which again, it initially feels good to the heart, hearing that. On the other hand, it just seems, how many more people have to die for that to come? And what are your own expectations on this? You know the situation much better than we do. Is there some light at the end of the tunnel, or could this be another 5-10 year war where all of Ukraine gets destroyed? Or could this escalate and suddenly Putin says, okay, now it's time for nuclear war arms? What are your own expectations, thoughts? Is there reason to be optimistic, or should we still be as scared as anybody of us are?
Actually, I think that only seems like we understand it better, because no, we don't. We don't understand will be the escalation. It all depends, I think, on our partners or international partners. But the only thing we can tell for sure that Ukraine doesn't ready to say we're going to agree on the Russian side. Like Ukrainians lost a lot, and there is no clue for us just to stop and say, okay, we're ready to negotiate. No, that's not. We are ready to fight till, I don't know, the last, but to achieve our goal, to get this victory. As Alyona said in the film, like, this is the only way.
But on the other hand, we understand that the population of Russia, it's more bigger than Ukraine, and it's really hard to say that the victory will be on the side of Ukraine. And that's why it's really scary, because you don't understand. I think that it won't stop without negotiation, so it won't be, I think. But we hope that it can, but I don't think so.
So as far as I understood, if you ask international war specialists, they all say nobody can win the war, right? And at the same time, I don't know, there was last week or something, 2 weeks ago, there was news from German Rheinmetall. They make tanks that they're actually putting up a factory in
Yeah, so
Ukraine, which is, yeah, you're smiling, I'm not smiling about it. Because it takes 2 years until the factory is built and until they make tanks, so they already planned a long time war. And independent of like if you like it or not, also Russia can, by then Russia can also have that factory. So tanks are always to kill people, and you cannot make sure that the right people are killed because they're killing machines, right? So when I like, I would answer your question that both sides are planning for a long-term war, and like everybody is losing. Like companies are losing in a war typically. I mean, obviously, like weapons manufacturers are like winning, right? Because they make money. They make money from either side, and they have provided more equipment to either side. So I wonder, because like, do you in your head like see any like you're also business people? You're probably you're even more like also for business is bad. So I wonder if you have any like personal idea how you would best solve it, because I know this is much to ask because even experts don't know. But if you had like, if you were in charge, was there anything else or different you would maybe do or like try to attempt? Like I would try to pay out Russian deserters. I like that. Give them lots of money so they quit their war. This would be my card. Like I would say everything, like buy them out, to betray them, to make them traitor. Right? So I don't know if you have maybe any idea or something you can like lead us to.
Actually, I'm not smiling because it's funny. Of course, it's not. We understand that everything that's going on, it's scary, like the whole world. But we are realistic about that. There are much money in Russia. There are a lot of people. We cannot afford like to make like payouts, like you said, and. We just can say that we have that goal, and till we have international partners, we can achieve it. So this is also the choice of the whole world, not only Ukraine. We want to have the country peaceful, and till Russia exists, we cannot have it. Like if we will sit and negotiate and tell this is our border. We don't know what will be in 5 years or in 10 years, because now they know what is Ukraine and what it can do. Do you understand? Like, there is not saying like, okay, we will tell this is the border, and we can be for sure. We don't know for sure if it will belong with this border. When it will come time when Russia will go again. So this is the point from our side.
Let me add another brief concern about that we've inspired a few people, which is good. I was talking to another speaker yesterday, also off the record, telling me basically their concern is sort of the sanctity of human life. It says Putin doesn't care about human life. 10,000 Russians died. Okay, take another 10,000 from the prisons, from the country, it doesn't matter where. They go pick up the guns from the dead body of the Belarus soldier, keep going. And then the ALGE doesn't really care, just another 10,000, another 10,000. And just the problem, as you said, of numbers. And luckily, he hasn't escalated it. He's keeping it like that. That's what he does. On the other hand, that button can be pressed also. But that's also my concern. That this will drag out 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, another 10,000, another 20,000. And so it's just an observation, a concern. We give the phone to Ukraine first, and let's go there.
I just wanted to talk to be the point of Ukrainians and Ukrainian army, because I'm a mother of 3, and I'm an officer of the Ukrainian army, and I spent 9 months on the front line, and joined my family only in the summer when I was resigned from the army. From 2014, when Russia first invaded Ukraine and took our Crimea in Donbass, and everybody was saying, just give them this land, so they stop this war, stop this will not stop in Ukraine. They will go further and probably they will come here because their ambitions are huge. And saying about the army, most of the Ukrainian army nowadays are ex-civilian people like me. I was just public relations manager, but I knew that if the enemy comes to my city, I will need to protect my home and my kids, and I will never go away and become just a refugee. I managed to evacuate two of my kids to evacuate two of my kids just 2 days prior to the war started, because I watched Putin on his TV saying that he wants to demilitarize Ukraine. And I understood that the war is about to start, and I woke up at night, put my kids into my car and took them to Moldova and came back, and the next day I became a soldier. And what was mentioned yesterday here in this room, that Ukraine refused from its nuclear weapons when it got its independence. And all the European countries and the United States were guaranteed, they had to guarantee our independence and our territory in our borders. And we didn't expect that our neighbor, and Russia was also the one who did it, and we couldn't expect that our closest neighbor and our brother will just come to our land and kill our civilians. And this is the most awful thing here, and we will never forgive. And for Ukrainians, now is the best way. The worst situation when the world says just stop, just negotiate, and just give this occupied territories to Russia. As yesterday was mentioned by the ex-minister of economy of Germany, first it should be victory on the battlefield, and then political negotiations. And as I think personally, spending these 9 months and dealing with our dead warriors, that all these people who actually started this war, they need to go to The Hague, and this is the only way this war can stop. The only way, only there. But to do this, probably we will need to go to counter-offensive and not just push Russia away off to their borders. No, we need to take those people to the international criminal court, and this will be the only way to stop this, to stop this evil.
I would like to agree here, because it is an international crisis. What's Russia doing today? Because international law, it doesn't mean anything now, as we see. So yeah, maybe this is the time to negotiate on that topic also. And if we can talk about Poland and Polish people, you need to see them, because they are also scared. The first days we came to Poland, they stand like that and they asked, how do you think? What will be? What will be? They were really ready to get to be involved in that fight. So yes,
and the Polish people said that if Ukraine will fall, we will be the next. So I think that it's the war. I think not only of Ukraine, but all the world which want to live in democratic society.
I want to say something, because I think this is a very dangerous storytelling. I agree with lots of things you say, but I disagree with also a lot. The Ukrainian population before the war was about 41 million people. Russia won for 140 million. They cannot go to Poland. I mean, no, we should fight Russia in everything, yes, but let's not go and come narratives that they can actually go and overtake Europe. We are too many people. But they already had 500 people. I'm sorry. They already had 500,000 people fleeing. Men that didn't want to go to the border, right? There's lots of Russians also running away from the war because they don't want to fight, right? So given that Russia doesn't have the capacity to invade anything more than Ukraine, that doesn't mean we should mobilize everything to save people in Ukraine. We should. We should just be careful with what scare tactics, what narratives, what story we tell. We have to all fight for human rights, period. Independent of Russia being a threat to Poland or not. As I said, if you look at the numbers, Russia cannot invade Poland ever unless they're using nukes. There's no way. So I think it's dangerous, and it also giving a backlash, because I'm always afraid of right-wing populists, right? So I feel like if we exaggerate the story, we will have first right-wing populists, and then we will have other people being scared who like, oh, next they're going to invade us, let's not help, let's do something else. So I think actually we are going to be most powerful if we concentrate on Ukrainians' innate right for protection instead of like making the threat for other people, right? Because focus on their human rights. So that's why, like, I don't want to like. But from an international relations point of view, they don't have the capacity to invade Poland. I mean, I agree. Putin is crazy. But I want him gone. I want him in Den Haag. Not going to happen. We also have Erdogan not in Den Haag. I mean, the US is not even partner to the whole thing, right? So this is not going to happen. Ideally, I don't know. He gets shot, right? Right now. Ideally, there's some assassination or something. Like now, I said it openly. We should not be assassinating foreign leaders, but whatever. But yeah, like let's try to like have a narrative that is really based on facts, because I think that's making everything stronger. Actually, like our whole claim to like human rights and human rights appreciation, and also find it dangerous when we talk about victory, right? We don't want this is making losers and winners. I think we should more talk about like really focus, say, peace. How it's done, we all don't know, but I think we should like peace, great situation, human rights for Ukrainian, but let's not use in terms of victory, because then also Russia is mobilizing internationally and saying, look, the Ukrainians, they don't want peace, they just want victory. So we have to be very, very careful with like the way we tell the story, because yeah, those rights are there, but we also have to have the global population on our side, right? On the side of human rights. And at the moment, I feel like there's a turning point where many are like, all in the global south and so on are sick of Ukraine, because like people are dying in Turkey too, right? There's 9 other wars. People are dying everywhere. Nobody cares. It feels like to them, well, this is the other storytelling. So if we focus on Ukraine and we talk about victory, and at the same time there's 9 other wars where people are helpless and not helped by international community, not having attention, right? In the German news there's a whole menu item, Ukraine. There's no menu item for Mali. There's no menu item for Syria. All those are missing. So I think we are stronger when we are trying to like remind that we're all fighting for human rights together.
Of course, that's also, here's the question, firstly, why? Because I think that there is no logic in Russian deeds, and we cannot find here some statistics, numbers, or why do they do that? So we cannot be sure, never. And that's why Poland, they're of course afraid, because there is no logic.
Yeah, he is no logic.
So.
Yes, I have to now. I'm going to go here first. Yeah.
First, I don't understand that. I was one of our evidence asked about where is the 500 employees.
Okay.
1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Iranian. I born in a war, and I have as the same as you experience, but nobody help us. Germany give a chemical bomb to us. Okay, and America support Iraq for send a bomb to us, but we stay in the country and we fight. But what we do if Ukrainian people, in a 1 week, all of them leave the country and come here for refugee. Help me money. But we are as the same as that situation, 9 years. Nobody help us, just help Iraq to give the bomb. And we are not come out as a refugee. Just I want to ask you, what do you do here? Where is the 500 employees? All of them are around the world. Who wants to fight inside the country? You are afraid about 2 children. I'm born in the war. I grew up in the war. I was in the school in the war. you're young people. We fight. My mother fight in the surgery. My mother, my father, everyone fight in the country. But you are come out from Ukraine and say, no, help me, help me. No, I live in Georgia. I'm resident of the Georgia also too. I'm near Ukraine. In 2014, Russia was in the Georgia, in the Tbilisi, because I know the language of the Tbilisi. I'm very close to you, but what's happening? Nothing. We are peace, okay? Now is a peace, okay, peace for everyone. You are thinking about Ukraine, but you are not thinking about around the world. You are not thinking about European, just think money. I don't understand those things. And please answer, where is 500 employees nowadays? They are a refugee in all around the world. Okay, you are rich. Iranian are rich, Georgian are rich. All of the people has the money. But why you use that money and make the economics problem after Corona period? It's a problem of the economic because of the war. It's not because of the war, because all of you leave the country. Sorry.
Can I answer? Just a thing. For today, 475 employees are in Ukraine. The part of people who came to Warsaw, they came from Kyiv, which were occupied. As soon as the Kyiv region was deoccupied, almost every person came back to Ukraine, to Kyiv. And what you're saying now, a little bit confusing for me, because I just don't understand. You judge Ukrainians for getting money, or I don't understand. I'm Georgian also. I was in 2008 there in Tbilisi, and I also fled because of war which Russia started. And I know there are people who are fleeing and finding another life for themselves in the world, but there are millions of Ukrainians who, being 17, 16, 20, they go to the armed forces of Ukraine and they're defending their country. And we have losses every day. And I don't understand what your judgment, or you are saying someone's rich, someone's not. That's not the point. There are people who have a lot, and they give that a lot for their country. And I really don't understand your comment now, because that's...
comment is, okay, he wants to establish your country and fight.
Okay.
Wait. Let's calm down our nerves. I know it's a very hot topic. I just wanted to say, right, human rights. Let's be reminded, nobody has a duty to fight. Okay? Nobody. It's as legitimate to stay and fight as it is to flee your country. Okay? Let's not judge anyone for ever fleeing a war situation. I understand that there's some idea of national honor and so on, but getting killed is always good. So people are scared and so on; they run away. So let's not blame anybody for being here, for being there. Like, I'm not in Turkey fighting Erdogan, so like we can start blaming people for anything. But we have a human rights to flee a war. That's why we have asylum. So that's a full 100% legitimate thing. It's 100% legitimate to stay and fight, but it is as legitimate to say, I am not fighting, I'm leaving. Okay? Because anything else is like giving us, we want Russians not to go and fight, right? So hence we also have to say it's as honorable to like do this as to do that.
And actually, this is the way of showing the documentary, talking about Ukraine is also the way of fight. Because I just think maybe you need to meet that people who are fighting from our company who already died, and then make some, I don't know, outcomes.
I thank you very much. I appreciate you standing here and coming for listening to our questions. I know it's very hard also personally, like if you're affected by something to listen to different points. I also understand your perspective. I mean, I was trying to raise it a little bit that obviously for the rest of the world it feels like racism that there has been this Ukrainian focus, which is not to blame. Like the other way, it should be the other way around. We should focus on all conflicts as much as we focus on the Ukrainian conflict. We should help all refugees as much. So it shouldn't be that we complain about Ukrainian refugees getting advantages, we should be like, let's raise all levels and let's help each other as much for like African refugees as we do for Ukrainians. So I know this is like difficult, very difficult, because you have like you have the war and at the same time you have hatred from all over the world coming. So yeah, so thanks very much again for all of you to give your input. Also thanks for you to give your perspective, and thanks that it stayed civil, as this is really, really hot topic and like I understand very emotional. So we are going to close this one, but you can ask them in the break, I hope. If you have more questions, I'm going to lead back to Mark, who is in charge of the rest.
Okay, let's just take the opportunity to express our sincere gratitude to both of our speakers from Ukraine.